I wanted to implement.
Okay.
Go to the data source that you created.
Okay.
Services data source.
Yeah.
Click on the data source, ORCL.
Okay. Wait. Yeah.
Okay, and go to transaction. Okay, hold on. Go to monitoring. Okay. Go to configuration. Go to diagnostics. Okay. Come up again. If you can maximize,
That's the max I can do,
the
unfortunately.
VMware as well.
Yeah, because I don't know for some reason. Let me try. Yeah, hold on. It may go beyond the. Yeah, is it better now? Is it better?
Just a sec. Yes, this is better. Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Come back to general. Okay, we have to figure out there is there is an option in here which we need to click on connection pool.
Okay, what are you trying to do actually, by the way? Is it because
There is
the messaging?
there is no, there is an option which we need to check or uncheck in data sources is what I'm able to try and figure out. Can you come to advanced as well, down, if there is an advanced option?
Yeah, that's the problem with maximizing this window. I have to scroll down. Okay.
Okay. There is something called as affinity, server affinity. Hold on.
Yeah, I have seen it somewhere.
We need to uncheck that. Actually, it would be checked, I guess. But see if you can find it.
I can Google it.
No, it will be difficult. I don't think you will be able to find it. Okay, let me Google as well. Because I had this documented, but I
Okay.
just thought.
But Mahatashin, can you explain our last experiment? I think you mentioned let's do the experiment and then I will explain. So I think.
Yeah, we are still in the process of doing the experiment. Let's complete that and then.
Okay, I was not sure whether it's done. That JSP page was started showing something.
Okay. Okay, I think it could be in the clusters also.
Yeah, it's load balancing in clusters.
Clusters, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Control F.
It says distribute HTTP traffic. Okay. Server affinity load balancing algorithms. That's something else. That's round robin and weight based, and that's why I sound familiar. But this is not what we're looking for, right?
Just give me a moment, please.
Oh, okay.
F.
Hey, madam.
Amir, meanwhile, I want you to restart even the admin server and try running the client. The admin server and all the managed servers and try running the program again.
Okay.
Okay, I got the phone call. Sorry, I had to attend that one. But did we change any settings that you were looking for, the affinity or something?
No, nothing yet.
Yeah, no, nothing yet, and just give me some time, okay, to work on this.
Okay.
Now, from here, guys, the practicals are a little dicey. You know, even if you're doing something that is according to the plan, you still may struggle getting the correct result, and then you have to debug and stuff like that. So, anyways, I think we'll be good, okay, eventually.
Yep.
So looks like it's getting pretty hot over there, right, Muhtashim?
Yes, it is. It is not just hot; it's humid as well. So
Right, right. Mumbai is that another trouble.
right.
Yeah, because yesterday, like your night time, I was looking at Pune temperature and it showed me like 93. People over here, they start burning whenever it goes beyond 90.
Right.
And we had yesterday 68, which was really pleasant. I mean, that's kind of weather we would love to, you know, have all the time.
Okay, but that storm or whatever you had is gone, right?
I think that was not in our area, but yeah, it actually passed through many states, Florida and Mississippi, I believe. So yeah, but not, we didn't get impacted at all with that. Chicago was not
Okay.
to the path.
Okay, Kansas State University.
Yeah.
Do you know?
Yeah, they're close to Chicago. I mean, they're still close means still 3-4 hours drive.
Okay. So you guys are quite far off from the university?
Yeah, almost at least 4 hours. I mean, minimum. And if traffic, you know, then you add up another hour or two more.
Okay.
Who is there?
No, my brother, he completed his MS
Oh, okay.
in from Kansas State
Okay.
University, and then he worked there for a couple of years. Now he's with Microsoft in India, Hyderabad.
Okay. Oh, he's in India now. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
I see. I mean, he didn't
They
want
have
to. It was his choice that he left US, or
actually when he got selected in he came here for marriage basically,
uh-huh.
and then he got a few promising offers from India. So he said, you know, there's a good prospect in India as well, so why not just take this one rather than going
Right, right, right.
abroad.
Yeah.
So you know, this is basically the development center that they have in Hyderabad. That's the
Okay.
only development center.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, you're in Microsoft and people like, studied from American universities, they have extra weightage especially when they are in India again. So,
All right.
all is good.
Yeah, Mustang, same results. I restarted everything.
Okay.
Yeah, same. So what are you trying to do here? Are you trying to make it give us
Yes,
more
yes,
output?
yes. We should get 45 connections.
I see.
Hold on. Show me. Show me. Okay. Okay. Show me the console, and show me the targets for the data source. Is it targeted to all the 3 servers?
We targeted to the cluster. Yeah, all servers in the
Okay.
cluster.
Can you show me?
Yeah, it's here.
All this. Okay. Do one thing. Select part of the cluster and check each of the managed servers. The second option, part of the cluster, and then
Yeah.
select each of the managed servers.
Yeah, I did that.
And then, okay, then save.
Okay. Do you have
And
read about? Sorry, go ahead.
you saved it. You saved it, right?
Yeah. It's active now.
Okay. Okay. Go to configuration again. You activated this. Okay, good. Go to configuration.
Yeah.
Let me just see. Okay, and go to the cluster. Click on the cluster. Okay. Go to health monitoring. Okay, go back. Overload. No, sorry. Go to overload. Hold on.
I'm just saying that. Do we have to configure the connection pool somewhere to make it go 45 or whatever?
No, no, no.
No.
Just,
Okay.
no. Just move up. And click on HTTP. Okay, go for scheduling and migration, and that way. Go to each of those options below. Yeah.
So especially which option we are trying to look for?
There would be server affinity option, but anyways, I'm not very sure about it. Just move up. No, just move up. It is probably the first or the second option, Amir. Go to replication. Okay. Okay, come back. Come Come to the top. Go to monitoring on the top. Go to failover and health here. You click on health. Okay, that's fine. Okay, you can leave it. Okay. Now just restart the admin server and the managed servers again, please.
Okay.
I think if this works, then
But we didn't
we have
change.
some answers.
We didn't change anything.
No, we changed the cluster to point to individual servers rather than
Oh yeah. Okay.
the cluster itself.
Okay. Yeah, I think somebody is breathing into the mic, I guess. Thank you. Yeah, that's what I thought.
Ahmed, meanwhile, can you show me click on the server, any one managed server?
No, this is same. Nothing changed here.
a single data source. Okay. No, can you click on any WebLogic manager? Yeah, just a sec. Click on health monitoring and overload and tuning and migration, those 4 options.
Okay, health monitoring.
The screen has shortened again, or I don't know.
Yeah, because I had to scroll up and down.
Okay.
Yeah, that's why I did that.
Okay. Guys, this auto restart option that you see in health monitoring is basically the option if you want the server to try to restart if in case of failure. So if it happens to shut down, crash, then it will try to auto restart itself. So you have to select that option. I think there are other values in the health monitoring.
Okay.
Right? Okay. Go to tuning and migration.
So that server crash mentioned, I told you one of my problem, that server was not coming up, it was not coming to the running state. Will that be resolved? Will the server try to resolve that state as well, that I'm not coming in running state? Let me try to auto restart myself.
No, the auto restart feature only kicks in when the server was previously in running mode, and while it was running in the running mode, it got crashed somehow.
Okay.
So if it is already crashed and you're trying to start it, and if it fails to start, that is not when the auto restart option would work. It will only work when the server was already running.
Okay, understood.
Okay. Okay. Okay, I think we can skip this. Ahmed, did you send us the program, the JSP code and?
Sorry, not yet. Let me just do that right now.
Yeah, because I just want to see that myself.
Okay.
And cluster address, right? Okay. Meanwhile, I receive your email. I'll quickly try to check at my end what best I can find out.
Okay, I pasted in the document, the shared document we have.
Okay.
Yeah, there may be an extra bracket here. This may be, let me see, I don't know.
No worries, no worries. Whatever it is, we can fix if there is any issue.
Yeah, yeah. Then I may have pasted the extra bracket here. So. Okay, so let's move on to the next thing then.
That server affinity option that you were trying to look for, what was the purpose of that option that we want to, you wanted to explain by turning it on or off?
Yeah, we would eventually discuss that option, when it comes, comes to light. But for now, we don't want to discuss that right away, because anyways, that option is not currently at our desk. Okay, so just leave that. Okay, I want you to try the Java code that I had sent you. Amir, set the environment and try the Java code that I had sent you.
Sorry, which Java code you are referring to?
Initially, I had sent you a Java code which you converted to a JSP. Am I right?
Yeah, this is the one. Yeah, this
Yes.
is.
I
Yeah.
want you. I want you to compile and run the Java code.
Oh,
Can
just the
you just
Java.
change?
Oh, just the Java code. Huh?
Yes.
Okay.
So now, what's the purpose again? We tried to run this code from JSP. Now we are trying to run it from command line or on one of the server. Um, Matashi?
Yeah, we're just trying to run it through command line and see if we find a different result.
Okay.
Unable to resolve ORCL. Do I need to modify the
Have you
code?
have you set the environment?
Yes, environment is set.
Okay, I still don't see the error because there's some lag. Okay,
Okay.
name not ORCL. Okay, the URL. Have you changed the URL in there?
Yeah, well, let me see. I think that may be the problem. Uh, there is no URL here. Oh, here. Yeah.
Good catch.
So this could be, sorry, again, this will be the server where the database is running, right? Because this is not,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yes, that will be the server where the database is running.
And I don't have to put any port here, I guess. It's just the database. Sorry, server name, WLS3.
No, database is running. That's a wrong statement. These are the servers where
No, no, no,
these are
no,
the
no,
servers which
no,
are
no,
configured
no,
to connect to the database.
no, Ganesh, my statement was correct. WS3 is where the database is running. And we are trying to
But then
connect
in
it, we're
JSP,
trying to connect it directly, not GSP, Ganesh. Okay, this is just a plain Java class.
okay, so now which,
No. Hold on.
Uh-huh.
Amir, we are not connecting to the database directly. We are doing the same thing is we are going to connect to the database through the WebLogic data source. So you'll have to specify the IP port of the WebLogic server again here.
Okay, but yeah, you said, yeah, this has to be the database server name, this server URL.
Yeah, okay. So listen, directly we are not connecting to any database.
Okay.
Whenever I say the database server, I mean the WebLogic server which has the data source to connect to the database. That's the understanding you're going to gain from here. Okay.
Okay.
Whenever, because I may say that again and again. So, but I would not mean that.
Let me check the port. I thought you were trying to, 7103, trying to connect to it bypassing.
No. Oh, no.
Okay. Yeah, sorry about that. Okay, so this is done, but how do I, that's it?
Yeah, compile and run it.
I guess we don't care about this unchecked problem. Yeah. So 7, 9, okay, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, this looks good. It's 20, 21.
He said he has a counter for 45 or something.
Yeah, so this is going beyond 14 where our test, this was like stopping after 14.
Okay, I think that's is that the observation you wanted us to notice, that the command line has a different
Yeah.
result from the JSP?
Yeah, 44. Yeah, it's going to 44. Now, Amir, see, this is something any Java developer would try to figure out, and this
Okay.
is something I believe you guys can figure out. Uh, Show me the URL that you have in here and the URL you gave in the JSP. Is it exactly the same?
Let me see. This is what I have here. And I think we tried putting everything.
All servers.
I think we put all servers.
Okay, here you have given a single server. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, yeah. So here we are specifying all 3 servers. So should I just remove? Should I just
It's
remove?
strange, you know, it's strange. It should take all, I mean, this should work rather than that. Are you sure there you have a single server?
Yeah. Oh, and this is the JSP. It has 3 servers.
Okay, try removing it and see if, you know, but if it works, you know, this is something out of my
So
understanding.
you would rather see the results that shows it ran for 45 times, or in a loop it was for 45 times.
Yes. There is a, okay, you can also give an a hash, I think. Can you try I don't know, JSP, right? Double quotes, right? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Connection test.
So over here, we only configured our data source to reach to the database server. We were not trying to, as such, connect to any particular schema with user ID password.
Well,
No,
we are connecting to user ID password, Scott Tiger, but we're not
Okay,
doing anything. But we are not doing anything else. Just connecting.
okay, okay.
Yeah. It I think is same result.
okay.
Yeah.
Can you paste the Java code? Uh, one of the JSPs and whichever one it hits. T3 comma. Okay guys, so we need to figure out why that JSP does not, you know.
But you're saying we should we should have ideal results.
I didn't get you.
You're saying we should have same results from command line as well as from JSP.
Yes, yes, of course.
Okay. Matshim, can you tell me where is that 45 thing coming from? Because here we are trying to run it 100 times. Why would it stop at 45? Why do you expect it to stop at 45?
Yes, I'll try to explain that thing, but my concern was, hold on, I'm just going through my document, okay, so let me check. If I missed something, okay, I'll let you know.
Okay.
Okay. Meantime, can you show me, where you set up that Scott Tiger user ID password?
Sure. Yeah, it's in the. And when we set up the data source, we provide everything.
Okay.
Yeah. Is the name is. Okay, where did it go? I did provide that somewhere. Where did that go? I don't know. Can't find it. Let me try creating another one. So let's call it RCL2. Here, Ganesh.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, I don't know why is it not coming up on the connection thing. Maybe I need to find out with the.
Now on this, just a second, Amir. On this server, there are two schemas, right? Right now.
No. Two databases running.
I mean, we have one instance. ORCL is only one instance, right?
No, there's two running. I created another one.
Okay, okay.
I
You
created
created
another
a
one.
complete new instance, and then they both have the same HR schema, like Squad Tiger.
Yeah.
Okay. But then, if we were supposed to connect to, different different schema, or that screen, is that screen allowing us to, configure it for a particular schema?
Well,
Because
when you say Scott Tiger, you are connecting to the Scott schema.
Okay, so Scott, that user is nothing but the schema.
It is the schema, yeah.
Okay, is that always like that?
It is always like for Oracle. It's always like that.
Okay, but then, okay, so every user has his own schema in Oracle.
Yeah, user and schema, they're one-to-one relationship.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And then every schema will have its tables underneath it.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah.
All the database structure, basically.
Yeah.
The objects, database objects.
Yeah.
Okay, guys. See, first thing that I want to tell you about is the JNDI. Now, do one thing. Bring up any one MS1, for example. Okay. Now, remember that data source called ORCL was targeted to MS1, MS2, and MS4. Am I correct?
Yeah. Just a second.
To the cluster, and the cluster is MS1, MS2, and MS4.
That's right. Yeah.
So when you target any data source or any service, basically, data source is one service, JMS is another service,
Right.
persistent store is another service, Java mailing option messaging is another service, Java mailing is another service, Java diagnostic another service, Java SSL, WebLogic SSL another service. So these are all services that WebLogic provides. So the data source is a service that WebLogic provides. When I'm saying service, it is nothing but a set of classes, okay, that gets loaded. When you target data source to a particular server, that JVM loads database related classes which were built by the WebLogic engineers. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So click on any one of the servers. Did I ask you to click on the data sources?
Yeah, I did that. Okay, you want to go here and then on the servers? Targets?
Hold on, just a sec.
Okay.
Yeah. So MS1, MS2, and MS4. So go to servers. Click on the server on the servers tab on the left hand side. Yes. And click on MS1, for example.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, but once you click on MS1, there's a view JNDI tree. Do you see that option?
Sorry, where is that?
Below the save button.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, now in this JNDI tree, you should see ORCL, which is basically the data source.
Yeah,
So
I see
what
it.
what your Java code does is, it looks up for the JNDI ORCL. So once it finds here in the JNDI, it is written that anything with the name ORCL is nothing but your ORCL database, and that is how it starts getting all the information from the configuration files and starts loading the database related,
Yeah.
classes on WebLogic.
Right.
So there's a naming convention. It's like if I need a go-to-meeting session, I can contact Amir. So whenever I say Amir, it means that I need a go-to-meeting session.
Right.
Okay, so Amir is basically a naming convention for somebody who wants to use the go-to-meeting service.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, can you check if this JNDI shows for all the servers in the cluster? It should, but please check.
Okay.
No, you can close that. You can close that. Yeah, now click on the second server and then go to view JNDI again.
Sorry about that. Okay, JNDI. Yeah, for MS2.
Okay, and just check for the third one as well.
MS4. Yeah, it does show for all three.
Okay. So we will try to figure out, why is it failing when you put the same code in the JSP versus running it through a standalone program.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, but anyways, we'll move ahead. Now, see what happens is, I need to share my screen.
Please go ahead.
Yeah. So, I'm going to click on the data source and ORCL and come to the connection pool.
Oh, okay, then I have to go back to I have to take back the control, right? Or no? Okay.
Well, no, what you can do is you can just print screen and paste it to the Word document.
Okay. So what do you want me to show now?
Shared document.
Okay. What do you want me to show? Go data source.
Yes, data sources.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. Do one thing. Let me check if I have that option myself. Okay, I have that option. Okay. You can see my screen, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so when you click on the data source, you go to configuration connection pool settings, and this is where you have all the database settings. You will find these three properties which are very important for you to understand. And the reason is basically whenever you have performance issues around databases connecting to WebLogic server through applications is when this is something you would want to have to debug. Okay.
Okay.
So it says initial capacity 1. It means that when the first, you have Apache. This is nothing but Apache. Okay. So you have Apache out here, and Apache in turn forwards the request to manage server 1, manage server 2, and manage server 3. Okay.
Yep.
Now what happens is, and this is basically the internet. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So people from the internet are hitting your web server.
Okay. Can I just pause you for a second? I think I may know the reason why it's stopping at 14.
Okay.
If you go back to your WebLogic server screen.
Okay.
See, See, it says maximum capacity 15.
Okay.
I believe that's stopping it from going beyond 15.
0 to 14. Yeah, that's a good catch.
It says it starts at 0 and 0 to 14 is 15 connection and then it stops. We can try increasing it and then see what happens.
My friend, I appreciate your observation,
Okay.
but let me proceed, okay?
Okay, sure.
So some people from the internet, so for example, Amir came up and he hit Apache /session test, right?
Yep.
Okay, so /session test. So the request went to MS1 and session test application has index.jsp. Look in my mouse, okay?
Yeah.
Just observe my mouse very carefully. It has index.jsp. Now index.jsp uses this data source to create the first connection to the database. Okay?
Right.
Now it says initial capacity 1. You know what does it mean? It means that, you know, when you have a Java program, have you written a Java program to connect to a database? Have you ever written that?
Yeah.
We just wrote
Tell me what. Sorry?
We just wrote that.
No.
Our Java program was connecting to the database.
No. I'm talking about a Java code to connect directly to the database, not the Java code that connects to the database via the Weblogic data source.
Right.
The Java code that we
in the
ran.
Java code, you will have APIs that WebLogic asked you as arguments, your instance name, user ID, password, and then the connection string.
Hold on. So what I'm asking you is basically, see, this is a session test application, right? I'm asking a direct connection to the database, something like this.
Okay.
And currently the Java code that you have is this application uses this data source. Look at my mouse. And this data source then connects to the database.
Right.
So from this application you do a JNDI lookup, right, for ORCL, and you find ORCL on this managed server, which so it then triggers a connection to the database. So, but I'm talking about a situation where from this session test application, you do not have to connect to a data source like ORCL, but you have to directly give the database, credentials and host and stuff and connect to the database.
Yeah, I have done that using the JDBC API that Java provides. I have done that.
You have done that. So I'll appreciate if you can let Ganesh know once we are off from the training.
Okay.
But what I wanted to tell you is, now guys, for example, if you have a direct connection to the database, you know what happens when Amir logs into Gmail or to Yahoo, okay, he hits the application, the Yahoo application gets hit over here, and Amir has his username and password. So from here, it will use a class called as Java class called as connection class and a driver manager class, which will establish a connection to the database. Once the connection is established, the request will be sent that I need so and so username and password verified. It will get verified. The result will come here. It will check, okay, the username and passwords are matching, and then it will go back over here. Okay.
Yeah.
Why do we use a WebLogic data source? Why can't we simply connect directly from the application to the database? Why do you, from the application, you want to use the WebLogic data source to connect to the database? Why? That's the question. So the question is, you can have an application that directly connects to the database by giving the database username, password, database hostname, socket, and stuff like that, schema name and everything. But why do you want to use the WebLogic data source to connect to the database? That's my question.
Okay, what I remember from my time doing the Java development, creating connection is an expensive process. So the So if the application directly creates the connection every time it needs to connect the database, it's resource intensive and it's expensive process. So we use data sources to pool the connections which are pre-connected, pre-built, and then whenever application needs the connection, it just connects to gets the connection request through that data source, and when it's done, instead of closing the connection, it just goes back to the pool, and we can reuse those connections.
Exactly. I don't know how much Ganesh understood this, but Ganesh, let me try to make you understand in a common man's term with an example. Those who do not know Java, never done a database thing. I think you should have, you know, at least in your studies. But anyways, what I'm trying to tell you is, if I ask Ganesh, can you please help me with a pen drive? So Ganesh would say, okay, hold on, let me go to the market, buy a pen drive for you. I'll buy a pen drive, get it, and I will hand it over to you. Okay. Now what Amir does is, Amir already has bought a few pen drives from the market and he has kept it with himself. Now when I say, Amir, please get me a pen drive, rather than reaching out to the market and buying a pen drive for me, he already has that pen drive ready with him. So he simply hands it over to me. So which is quicker as far as the performance is concerned?
Right. Datasource, yeah.
Yes, the Weblogic data source. So basically the market is nothing but your database. Okay, Ganesh and Amir are nothing but the data sources, and I am nothing but the client, the browser hitting the application. So when I hit the application invokes Ganesh, and I'm sorry, the application invokes Amir, who already has a database connection ready with him, which he hands over to me. So, you know, all I have to do is, rather than establishing a connection to the database, I can simply fire a query. What is the user and name and the password in the database? Please give me. It will give me the username and password. I will check what the user has provided in the browser. If the browser username and password matches the database username and password, that means the user can log in. Login successful. But when I come to Ganesh, so Ganesh is basically an application code that directly connects without a WebLogic data. There is no WebLogic data source. So when I can come to Ganesh and I say, Ganesh, here's the username and password. So Ganesh says, hold on. Then Ganesh goes back to the database, tries to check what the username and password is, gets the username and password back here, okay, and then compares with my username and password. If it is good, you know, he'll let me in. Otherwise, when I go to Amir, okay, so Amir has a data source basically configured. So in the application, he's making a connection using the data source. Okay, so what Amir will do is, Amir already has pulled all the username and passwords from the database. He has ready with him. So when I give the username and password, he will check locally rather than going to the database and trying to fetch my username. He already has them with him. He'll simply compare the username and password and he'll say you are good. So basically, you know, this is the reason why we want to use a WebLogic data source. One reason. Second reason is, for every new client, if you don't have a data source, you'll have to establish a new database connection every time. Whereas in a data source, what you can do is, you can have predefined connections ready. This predefined connections ready on the server which has the data source is called a connection pool. So you saw that connection pool on the WebLogic server, right? Yes. So connection pool is basically a set of established database connection Java objects. So all you have to do is fire the select query, drop query, okay, and this query and that query, rather than establishing a connection to the database. Okay, so that's the difference between directly connecting from the code and using the data source to connect to the database from the code. That's the difference. But anyways, I
just a
hope
second.
you guys-
So with that, you said it has locally. So if I'm logging in with Scott Tiger, you said instead of checking that Scott Tiger, verifying it with the database, it has already pulled in the user ID password, and the data source will locally compare the the right user ID and password is there or not. So it doesn't have to hit the database.
Listen, are you talking about a realistic scenario, or are you just trying to understand the example that I gave?
A realistic scenario.
Okay, so in a realistic scenario, the username and password is not pre-ready with the data source, no. But the connection to the database is ready, already there. It's okay. I give you a better example. When Ganesh makes a direct call to the database, whereas Amir uses a data source to connect to the database. So the difference is, I will ask Amir, I'll ask Ganesh. Ganesh, what is the current rate, okay, price for 1 kg silver? Okay, 1 kg silver if I want to buy. So what Ganesh will do is he will call the database, okay, somebody, and he'll ask, hey, what's the market value? So he'll dial the number, right? And he'll ask then the person will pick up the phone, and then he'll say, who are you? He'll say, I'm Ganesh. He said, what's up? Then you'll say, I need to know the price of 1 kg silver. He'll tell and you'll let me know. What Amir will have is a pre-established connection telephone line with the market. Okay, he'll have a pre-established line with the market. So as soon as I call Amir, I'll say, Amir, what's the price of the silver? What's the silver rate? So Amir will not have to dial in the number to connect to the database, to the market, to know the price. There is already a connection established. He's already dialed and the phones are active. All he will do is he'll just ask, what is the price of silver? So whatever he hears back, he'll let me know. So because there was already a pre-established connection, it gave me a better performance. This is what the data source does. It has a pre-established connection. What it does is when the client comes in, it only fires the SQL query. Whereas if you don't have a data source, you will have to establish a connection for every client and then fire the SQL query. I hope you understood.
Yeah.
Okay. So now we have every reason why we want to use the data source. Okay.
Yeah.
We have understood what a connection pool is basically. So the connection pool is basically a set of pre-established connections So Amir may have 10 phones and all the 10 phone lines are connected basically. So the connection pool is basically 10, okay? A predefined established connection with the database is basically the connection pool. So these values that you see in here are the values for, okay, let me just show you these values on the console. Okay, so initial capacity, it means when the first request comes, there is only one pre-established connection with the database, and the maximum pre-established connections with the database that this data source by default can provide is basically 15.
Okay.
And the minimum capacity is 1, and initial capacity is also 1. Okay. Okay, so let's, and there will be an increment by, I think there is an increment by value. Hold on. Okay, initial capacity, the number of physical connections to create when creating the connection pool in the data source. If unable to create this number of connections, creation of the data source will fail. The minimum number of physical connections that this connection pool can contain after it is initialized. Did you understand the difference between these guys?
Okay, the initial capacity and the minimum capacity?
No, I'm talking the difference between initial capacity and the minimum capacity. What is the difference?
Yeah. The initial means if we set it to 10, it will be ready with 10 connections. Initial capacity is 10, right? Instead of 1.
Okay, if initial capacity is 1 and minimum capacity is 10, let me just write this.
Okay.
Tell me what will happen.
Maybe it will maintain minimum number of 10 connections, and it will discard 5, like the 5 excessive connections, maybe if needed.
I think initial, okay, so minimum, to get to the minimum level, what it says, the minimum number of physical connections that this connection pool can contain after it is initialized. So that initialized, that means the initial capacity, which will be initialized with that many connections. And then it will compare, okay, initialized. So if initial capacity we set 4, it will try to initialize to 4 connections in the beginning. And then it will try to go to how many minimum are required. Minimum are required 6. So it will add 2 more, I think so.
Okay, guys, see what happens is, we can simply read this and, this will make more sense. See, it says the number of physical connections to create. Okay? The number of physical connections to create when creating the connection pool in the data source. So basically it requires one single connection, okay, physical connection, okay, in order for, which is the initial, for the connection. Now, if unable to create this number of connections, so if it is able to create these number of connections, which is 1, the data source will not fail, will not fail, okay? You get the point? So, so the data source will come up, fine. But then what it says is, the minimum number of physical connections that this connection pool can contain after the data source, initializes or gets created, it initializes itself, and while initializing it will make how many connections?
So
10 connections.
Yeah, so 9 more. Okay.
Okay, many more, which is 10.
Yeah.
And this option, okay, and this option 15 is the maximum amount of parallel connection that a data source can have. So you got the point?
Yeah.
Okay. So if this is set to 10 initial capacity, okay, and this is set to 1, it means that it will need 10 connections, okay. If it is able to establish 10 connections, only then the server will start and the data source will start, okay.
Yeah.
Of course, if the data source fails, the server also fails. So in order for the data source to start, it will create 10 connections, and after it has created 10 connections, the server comes to running, it will drop down to one connection.
Right.
You get the point?
Yeah.
So this is the difference between the initial capacity and the minimum capacity. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, and the maximum capacity is 15. Now, let me ask Amir one question. Amir, if the maximum capacity is 15, can 10,000 people in a day use this data source to connect to the database? Yes or no?
I would say yes.
Okay, why?
Because they may not be connecting at the same time, and
Right. Okay, you are absolutely right. So the answer is, these values, guys, that you are seeing, these are values for live connections at that instance of time. So when I say maximum capacity 15, that means I will not allow more than 15 parallel connections. Okay, more than 15 parallel connections. Okay, so it may be 10 users log in and then they log out, and then 5 users log in, then 3 log out, then 2 remain, right? So then 7 log in and then 6 log out. So people can log in and log out throughout the day, and 10,000 users can use this particular data source. But the problem will happen when more than 15 users at the same point of time log into the server, is when the maximum capacity will be breached. And that is when we see at 14 it freezes, right?
Yeah.
We saw that it freezes. So that is why it freezes. So basically what I'm doing in my code, Java code, Ganesh, is I'm creating a user to connect to the database via the session test application, and I don't close that connection while I create the second user, while I create the third user, while I create the fourth user, while I create the fifth user, and I create up to 100 users in the for loop. But after 15 users, it breaks. Okay, because the connection pool is 15. But remember, guys, we have targeted this data source to the cluster, right?
Yeah.
So the cluster has 3 managed servers,
I
3
see.
WebLogic servers.
I see. Okay.
So it should be 15 into 3, because each server will give 15 parallel connections.
I got it. Okay.
And it should be round robin, because by default the data source algorithm is round robin. Okay, so the first connection goes to the ORCL data source on managed server 1, MS1. The second connection goes to ORCL and MS2. Third connection ORCL MS3.
Right.
And then fourth connection ORCL MS1 again. So this is how it keeps happening. So now you understand why we should have got 45 connections,
That's right. Yeah. Correct.
and why we actually got 45 connections. We'll figure out why we are not able to get the index.jsp working, but that's secondary. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Wait a second. You said the capacity actually triples because we have 3 managed servers. Is that right?
Yes. The maximum capacity, yes.
Maximum capacity actually triples as many as managed servers are there.
Yes.
And you said because although WebLogic said I can have maximum 15 concurrent connections going to the database.
Come again, what you said?
This is the WebLogic's capacity to have maximum parallel connections.
No. This is where the entire concept lies. So Ganesh, if you understand this, you understood data sources, okay? 15 is not the capacity of the WebLogic server. 15 is the capacity of the data source.
Right.
Now, whichever WebLogic server this data source will be targeted will create a capacity of 15 parallel connections. So if you target it to 3 WebLogic servers, each of these servers will create a capacity of 15 parallel connections.
Okay, that's more meaningful now, because this limit is not for the database connections, the physical database connections, that the Oracle database has maximum.
No, Oracle database can probably take 200 parallel connections. I don't know.
That will be the separate setting in database that Amir can tell us.
Yes, so that's not concerning us anyways. Yeah.
Okay.
That's not the topic.
Okay, so here this capacity tells us that I have this JNDI source, and every server.
No, hold on. There's nothing called as a JNDI source. The JNDI is basically the naming convention you give to the data source or to any services. So ORCL is basically the JNDI name for a data source. Similarly, you can have something else, some other name for JMS, for some other name for persistent storage. So you can create any services and give it any name. So that name is JNDI. And the JNDI name is what you use to, it's like Ganesh is the JNDI to recognize that there is a human being. Okay, it's a human being, Ganesh. Okay, does that make sense?
Right. So we
Okay,
created ORCL.
so JNDI is just a name of a person, but the actual human being is the data source.
Okay. So we created a JNDI name called ORCL to our Oracle database, and ORCL is a data source.
No. Come again.
Okay, so ORCL is a JNDI name for the data source which is connecting to the ORCL
Yes.
in our database.
Okay, see, when you say it's a JNDI name, consider that JNDI is silent. So just consider, it is you say JNDI name, but it is actually a name for the data source.
Okay. So ORCL is a data source name. Now this capacity.
No, hold on.
Uh-huh.
ORCL is the JNDI name, not the data source name.
Okay, ORCL is a JNDI name, and JNDI
for the data source.
Okay, JNDI name for the data source.
Yes.
Okay. And that data source is nothing but connecting to
it's like you are the data source and Ganesh is the JNDI name by which I recognize you.
Right.
So similarly, here the data source, it can be any name, but ORCL is the name by which the application recognizes which data source it is. So if you give, instead of ORCL, you give some other name, it will try to search for some other data source or JMS or whatever service is related to that name. But currently the data source service is related to the ORCL name. Does that make sense?
Okay. So now ORCL is assigned to MS1. ORCL is assigned
No.
MS1 is configured with.
My friend, don't say ORCL. ORCL is a name, man. So
Yeah. ORCL is a name for data source.
Name. Okay. So no, my friend, ORCL is the JNDI name for the data source.
Right. So ORCL is a JNDI name for data source, and now this data source is configured, or it is assigned to MS1, MS2, and MS3.
Targeted, yeah, you can say targeted. Yes.
Now
yes.
If
so listen, Ganesh, whenever you say in the future, please keep this in mind. Say that the data source is targeted to the server. Never say the JNDI. Otherwise, I'll have to repeat the whole story again. We discussed right now.
Right.
So never say the JNDI.
ORCL data source is targeted to MS1, MS2, and MS3 or MS3.
Okay, my friend, don't call it ORCL data source. Just say the data source. Okay, the data source is targeted. You can say like this: the data source with the JNDI name ORCL is targeted to. Then I'm happy. Otherwise,
data source with the name JNDI name ORCL.
Yes, it's targeted to 3 servers. Yes,
it's targeted to 3 servers. Now each of these servers can ask this data source that give me a connection. Each of these servers can say give me a connection because I want to talk to a database, and this will keep track from each of these servers that hey, MS1, I can maximum give you 15 parallel connections. Hey, MS2, I can maximum give you 15 parallel connections. Hey, MS3, I can maximum give you 15 parallel connections because that's what is my maximum capacity.
No, this is not a conversation between the data source and the server, but this is a communication between the server and the browser, the end client. You know what happens? After you targeted the data source to the managed servers, MS1, MS2, MS3, MS1, MS2 and MS3 read the values and they said, I can provide 15. The managed server said, I can provide 15 connections to the database. It's not the data source. When the data source was targeted to the managed servers read the value in the data source. They understood which database the managed server is supposed to connect to. The managed servers understood how many maximum parallel connections should I give to the client? So everything is done by the managed server. So data source is just a configuration XML file, my friend, whatever you configure. So it is the JVM, it is the managed server who reads this configuration file and set itself accordingly. Okay. So if I say today is physical training day, Ganesh will set himself with sports shoes and white, the sports uniform. When I say today is a client meet day, Ganesh will set himself in a more professional dress. So similarly, whatever the data source is configured, these managed servers, when you target it to the managed servers read the XML file, get all these values of the data source and make themselves, dress themselves accordingly.
So can you have a different setting for each managed server, or there is only one setting shared by, it's common for all managed servers?
No, if you want, like you have 15 data sources, right? You have 15 data sources for ORCL, 15 maximum, 15 parallel connections, right? And now you want MS2 to have 70 parallel connections. The maximum capacity should be 70, right? So what you can do is you can create a new data source with a different JNDI name, or you can create it with the same JNDI name also, that will do. And target the new data source to manage server 2 with 70 connections. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, let's move forward now, please.
Okay, do you have any other questions, guys? Should I proceed?
Please proceed.
Okay.
Nice.
So, yeah. So there are a few other options here which you need to know. There is something called as test connection on reserve. Do you see this?
Wait a second. So you also now connected the example with this explanation.
Yes.
Now
now you understand. Now you understand why was it failing after 45, stuff like that, right?
No. So now let's try to analyze. We had
Ganesh, yeah, Ganesh, please can we move forward now? I'm getting a little bit, annoyed with this conversation. Let's move forward and learn something now.
Okay.
You can analyze. Yeah, please.
Yeah.
But I definitely want to understand the results of that.
Yeah, sure. But let's try to cover the course content first, and then
let's do that. Okay. Yeah.
please, thank you.
Okay. So the test connection on reserve option that you see here, when you select this option, what it does is again you have made a change in the data source. So the server that this data source is targeted to, that server will test connection on reserve. Okay, so see, it became a complete sentence. That server will test connection on reserve, which means when you select this option and say the initial capacity over here was 10. So what it will do is it will create 10 connections to the database while the server is coming up. It has nothing to do with the client. Even if there are 0 clients from the internet, nobody is hitting the server. But just because the initial capacity is 10, this data source will create 10, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 separate connections to the database and keep it ready. But that is normal data source. But when you select test connection on reserve, what it will do is it will keep firing SQL queries to check if each of the connections in the connection pool, which is each of the 10 connections in the connection pool, are still working or they are not working. Are they working? Are they not working? So it will keep testing them. Okay, so there will be a lot of abstract, unknown, unseen data transfer between the WebLogic server and the database. Not because of the client, but because you have selected that option. So this connection pool will try to keep all the connections healthy. So if it does a SQL query and it fails, that means that connection is having a problem, that thread is having a problem basically. Okay, so what it will do is it will scrap that particular connection and create a fresh instance which is in Java with a new keyword. So it will create a new object, it will create a new connection basically and put the new connection in the connection pool and keep testing it. So I hope you understood what the new connection, test connection on reserve is. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
And there is another option, test connection on release. Hold on. I don't know if they removed that option. Hold on. Okay. Okay, I don't think see that, but there used to be an option called as test connection on release, which means when the client is done and he clicks on logout, that particular connection object returns back to the connection pool, right? Now, for example, Amir was hitting this application. This application uses this data source. It gives one connection object from the connection pool, through which the application fires SQL queries and communicates with the client. Basically, he is able to come in. The application is working. Now, when this client logs out, this connection will be returned back to the connection pool. When it is returned back, it will again test the connection with the database and see if the connection is still healthy and if it can be used for some new client. So that's the whole point behind connection on reserve and connection on release. Basically, these two options. And there are other several small values. You can just go through them. It's not very important, but you will only require it under circumstances and you hardly may have to ever change it. But anyways, so with this said, we have understood what JDBC data sources are, and we created a data source, and we saw the connections. Okay. Now what we are going to do is I'll ask Amir create another data source and target it to only 2 servers, not 3 servers. Please do it. Take back the control and create another data source.
Actually, I already created one when we were, I don't know, discussing something else. So do you want me to target it to 2 servers, 2 many servers in the cluster?
Yes,
Oh, okay.
maybe MS1 and MS2. MS1 and MS2, please do that.
Okay.
And I hope you'll give some different JNDI name or whatever, okay?
Yeah, it's ORCL2 is to connecting to a different database.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's done.
Okay, ORCL2, good, okay. How many connections can the data source 1 give us in all? Amir, please answer.
Well, the default we saw was 15. We can change it, right?
No, I'm talking about the defaults. Okay, how many connection can how many connection will ORCL give us?
45.
45, right? 15 on each servers.
Yeah.
Now, Ganesh, question for you: how many connection will ORCL
30.
give us? 30 connections, right? Now, click on data sources, lock and edit, create a new data source. No, click on new and create a new multi-data source. Yes.
Okay.
Now I'll tell you what multi-data source is. Multi-data source is nothing but a group of data sources. You can give any JNDI name over here. MORCL, something like that.
NORCL. Is that
Yes,
okay?
I mean, yeah, this looks fine.
Okay.
Oh, hold on. Algorithm type. Do you see that?
Yeah.
So there are two algorithms, failover and load balancing. Select load balancing for now. I'll tell you what failover is.
Okay.
Say next.
Yeah. Should deploy to the cluster?
Okay. Hold on. Oh, hold on. Go back. Okay. Sorry. Wait. Yeah, select any one. Select any one managed server. That's fine.
Oh, from the
I'm
cluster?
sorry, okay.
Oh, from the cluster or
Yeah,
outside the
just
cluster?
from the cluster. It's okay.
Okay. There should be non-distributed cluster driver, right? The plain thin driver.
Okay, hold on. Yeah, say non-exe because I think you took non-exe for both the data sources, right?
Yeah. The default one. Yeah.
Yeah, okay, say next. Now, I want you guys to hold on here. See, sometimes what people do is they create a data source with exe driver and they create the second data source with non-exe driver. And when they create a multi-data source, they don't find both the data sources the way you are finding. The reason is both the data sources should be of the same driver type, either exe or non-exe. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So people give one as exe and the other one as non-exe, and that is why they don't see both the drivers here. Just click on that arrow to bring it on the other side. Okay, just say finish. Okay, you're good. Now do one thing. Activate changes.
Yeah. Done.
Okay, now in the Java code, the standalone Java code, change the JNDI name to MORCL, which is to the multi-data source JNDI name.
Okay. I named it N for like N number of whatever.
Okay.
Yeah. This is the. I see this name, but we have to use the JNDI name. Okay. RC, all right.
The JNDI name, my friend,
Okay.
because the JNDI name is the actual name
Yeah. Okay. Got it.
by which the application refers to any service, not just data sources, guys. Remember that.
Yeah. That's MS2.
Okay, compile and run it again.
Okay, it's pointing to MS2 and MS2 has 7004.
Okay, can you predict the result before it is run?
All right, so this is a standalone program. It is right now you are specifically telling this program just to use server URL WLS1. So that means one managed server is limited with 15 plus the second one had another 15. So 15 plus 15, 30. So one managed server is allowed to have maximum 30 connections.
Okay. See, the answer is it should have 75 connections. Let's see. 45, 55, 65, no, 75, 85 connections. Right? 40, no, 30 plus 45 is 75, yeah. So at 74 it should stop ideally. Let's see. It will either stop at 74 or...
No, it stopped at 30. Okay, now here's my question. When I modified the Java code, I had to give the URL for the server where the managed server is running, and we
hold on. You gave the URL of the server where the multi-data source is targeted, right?
Yeah, which is MS2.
Okay.
And I gave the port number for MS2, which is 7004,
Okay.
right?
Okay. No, okay. So you believe whatever you did is correct, right?
Yeah. I mean,
Okay. Do one thing.
yeah.
Do one thing. Click on the multi-data source.
Okay.
Go to targets. Go to targets on the top.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now select MS4 and MS1 as well. Sometimes it may require a restart, but let's see. We'll do a test and then we'll see.
So you selected all of them now.
No, listen. Hold on.
Mm-hmm.
You shouldn't have run Namir, because
That's
you know
okay.
what happens is
Yeah.
the previous connections you'll have to clean them, right? No, that's
Uh-huh.
fine. The previous, see, you already ran it once, so all those connections are still, occupying in the pool. They're still occupying the pool, right?
Okay. Okay. And how do I clear
So,
them?
okay, now we are not going to clear them using the restart option. I'll tell you a better way to clean them. Click
Okay.
on the data source ORCL,
Okay.
go to monitoring,
Yeah.
okay, and hold on. No, go to controls, control.
Clear cache, whatever.
Yes.
Okay.
Select all the managed server and say clear statement cache.
Okay.
And then click reset. Or you can simply shut down and restart from here. Just the data. It will not restart the managed server. It will just reset the database. You can simply click on reset. Okay? I think that should be good. And do the same. Yeah, just click on reset and do the same for the other data source as well.
Okay.
And you can check by going in the monitoring tab to see how many connections are there, and after clearing, the connections become 0.
Yeah. Monitoring tab doesn't show any connections.
Okay, so that, no, hold on, customize this table is the option. Customize this table.
Okay.
No, yeah.
Oh yeah. Okay. Average active. Blah blah blah. Okay. All right.
So you have all those options there to see how many database connections using this data source has been established, how many are pending, stuff like that.
Okay.
Okay, that is it.
Okay. Now
enough,
it's
I guess,
yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Good.
Okay. Now just do that for the other data source and then rerun the program.
Yeah. It's already showing zeros, so I think we're good.
The other one? The other
Yeah.
one? Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Then you can run the program, please.
And I don't have to add the URLs for the other two servers?
No.
Okay.
The reason is for the first time also, if you remember,
Yeah.
we for the data source, not for the multi-data source, we gave only one server URL while
Right.
it gave the connection for all three.
That's right. Yeah.
So if you're saying it's going to connect to all three, then it should be 90 this time.
No, I'll explain you the maths. First, let's look at the result. It will be
75.
premature for yeah. It will be either 60 or 75. Let's see.
Okay. It stopped at 47.
Stopped at 47, is it?
Yeah. And then there's a
47?
yeah. And then there's an exception now. Pool connect failed. No resources currently available in the pool to allocate more resources.
Okay, I think just try to restart the all the servers. Okay, maybe the cache did not get clear. But anyway, I want you to restart the servers, all the servers,
Okay.
including the admin server. Okay.
Okay.
So when
Because-
we restart all the servers, it should bring all the connections automatically down to 0 or no?
Yes. Because this connection pool is nothing but Java objects in the JVM. So when you restart, the JVM gets destroyed, a new JVM with a new JVM ID comes into being with no connections with it. Amir, if you can just have a single script to start and stop all, something like that,
Sure, no.
including the admin.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, so it just saves your efforts.
Yeah, okay.
I mean, whenever you have time after the class.
Okay,
you know,
sure. Yeah.
See guys, it's many a times it says no restart required, but at times I've seen that it does require a restart, and only then it reflects the changes. But anyways, you can log in and check if the servers are up. The program that I have has a sleep value. If you increase the sleep value to 3 minutes, so every 3 minutes one new connection will be created. 3 minutes will be too much actually. 1 minute is even less than 1 minute. 40 seconds, 30 seconds is good enough. And you can actually go in monitoring and you will see the number of connections will keep coming up on the WebLogic console.
Okay. Yeah, I noticed one more thing is that it errored out for ORCL, not ORCL2. So maybe because I didn't clear everything.
Yeah, I mean, let's see. No, the situation could be, I'll tell you, if it works, I'll tell you why it failed earlier. I think I know the reason.
Okay.
Hey, the server are not even in starting mode. Is that what you're saying?
No. But I saw this error message here saying that no resource currently available in the pool, ORCL.
No,
So
that's fine.
for the multi data source that we used, it errored out on ORCL data source, not ORCL2.
No, but this error is in the program that you ran, right? Not in the WebLogic logs. Is it in the WebLogic logs?
No, it's from the program.
No, I'm saying why the WebLogic is not showing starting is my question.
Okay, it takes time.
You sure?
Yeah, last time it took like 3 minutes.
No, I understand, but it should say starting at least, very quickly.
Yeah.
It may take time to get running, but
Right. Let me see what's happening. Yeah, it's not even.
it did not start. The server did not start. Can you start it again, please?
Yeah, okay. Oh, some error messages. Now it's going into standby. Is something else happening?
If the server is going to start,
Okay. Let me see.
it's still trying to come up. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, because see, this MS1 is showing that MS1 is running.
Okay.
Yeah,
Just show me the console.
Okay. The last time it took like 3 minutes, but it was still showing some progress. Yeah, see, now they're all running.
Okay.
Last time it was showing that they're coming up, but this
Yeah,
time it was just,
so these are live bugs, basically
Yeah.
with the product. You can see yourself.
yeah.
Anyways, it's still the best product. Okay.
Oh. So should I run the program now?
Yes.
Or maybe if I remove that or lower that sleep thing, it will do
Yeah.
this run quickly, more faster.
Exactly. Exactly. But then it's okay. Do not terminate in between. Okay. Because
Yeah, yeah.
we'll have to then restart all the
Right,
stuff again.
right. Maybe before the next test, I will reduce the wait time.
Yeah, and just reduce marginally, so it's okay. Because you may also have to increase it. When you increase the value,
Yeah,
as soon as this keeps creating, you can go in the console monitoring and you will see the number rising.
I see. We should even be able to do it now.
Yeah, you should be able to.
Yeah. So yeah, 15. Yeah.
Right.
That's good.
Okay. Just show me the output, please.
Okay. It turned out again same place after 47.
After 47, and what does it say?
Sorry. Same thing.
ORCL is it?
Yeah, ORCL.
Okay, can you go to the monitoring quickly and see which ORCL managed server got 15, MS4 got 15, right? Active
Yeah.
connections,
Yeah.
and it says overloaded. See the state? You see that overloaded?
Yeah, overloaded. Maybe try to create another one on this one. Why would you do it? I don't know.
No, yeah, hold on. MS4. The other data source is targeted to MS1 and MS2. Is that true?
Yeah, we didn't target to all of them.
Yes. Okay, so I think I have an explanation. I think I have an explanation.
Is that some machine resources or machine capacity or something playing the role?
No, just the configuration.
No, I'll explain you guys. This is something which could be by default, but let me just, can you help me share the screen, please?
Sure. Okay.
Okay, these are the 3 managed servers. Okay, and
It's okay.
Do you have the scale handy?
It's okay. The lines don't have to be straight.
yeah, the reason is I do not want any strange questions from you. So, but anyways, see guys, this has 15 connections, and these 15 connections are coming from which data source? ORCL. Okay,
Okay.
and this is
Well,
MS1. Am I right? Just correct me. Just correct me if I go wrong anywhere. Okay. This is 15, and this is ORCL2. ORCL2, right?
right.
Okay, and this is MS2. Okay, this is 15, and this is ORCL2, and this is
ORCL.
15. ORCL.
Correct.
And this is only ORCL. Am I right?
Correct.
OR.
15.
Okay. Now what happens is we saw the error on which one? MS4, right?
Yeah, MS4 one was,
Oh, right,
yeah.
right, MS4, right? Okay. Okay, tell me the first connection goes where?
Round robin, it should go MS1.
Okay, hold on, this is the client. It comes through Apache anyways. But the first connection goes, let's say here. Okay? Second will go where?
MS2.
Round robin, MS1.
It should
ORCL2.
go, it should go to the ORCL2, right? And then come back to ORCL1. Am I right?
I don't know. Okay, these two data sources are pointing to two different databases.
No, see,
Yeah.
that's fine. It doesn't matter whether ORCL is pointing to some or this is pointing to some other or same.
Okay.
Even if they're pointing to the same or they're pointing to different, that is abstract, guys. We don't have anything to do with that. We are over here on the JVM.
Okay.
So now the multi-data source has two data sources. One is ORCL, the other one is ORCL2, right?
Correct.
So and the algorithm is load balancing, which means the first connection will go to ORCL, the second to ORCL2, third to ORCL, fourth to ORCL2, fifth to ORCL, and sixth to ORCL2. You get the point?
Right.
Yes?
Yeah.
So what is happening is the first connection went to ORCL, second went to ORCL2. Now when the third connection is coming,
It goes to ORCL.
it again goes to the ORCL on managed server 3, and then the fourth connection goes to ORCL, either this one, ORCL, either this one or the other one. Okay, and then the fourth connection again goes to ORCL. Do you get the point? What is happening?
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, that's why they were 8 and 8 and then 15.
Yes. I mean, do you have the snapshot still there?
No, it's gone. I mean that number is gone because I think it just reset. It's all zeros now.
Okay. Apologies. Can you just run that and show me ORCL monitoring?
Okay.
Okay. So ideally, if it was uniform, guys, it should have been ORCL on MS4.1.
Yeah.
On MS2, MS1.1.1, and then 2.2.2 on each of them, then 3.3.3 on each of them. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Can you guys see my screen now?
Yeah.
Yes, I can see your screen. Just run the program and
It's running, and you can see for MS4 it's increasing like double as compared to the other two.
right.
See, it's now 10 and 5.5.
Right.
So how can we tune this thing?
If you want equal connections,
No, I mean,
Actually,
how can we
with logic that-
how can we avoid this overloading?
No. But the logic that Muhatashim gave us, with that logic, MS4 should be loaded less because it only has one data source in it. So other two servers has two data sources on it. So they should always, get more load rather than MS4.
no, I understand what you're saying and I understand your question, but I did not understand when you said I gave that logic because I.
Yes,
when
explain.
did I say that?
It just explain what happened.
Okay. See, guys, the whole point is, in case of multi-data sources, the algorithm that we chose is important. Okay. So the algorithm that we chose was basically
Load balancing.
load balancing, which means the first connection will go to the first data source and the second connection will go to the second data source. Do you get the point?
Right.
Okay. Now what is happening is it is considering these two data sources as individuals. Do you get the point?
Mm-hmm.
So when it goes to the first data source, it does not consider the subsections of that data source, whether it is pointing to 10 servers or whether it is pointing to 20 servers. That distribution will not be taken care of. Because if you want that distribution to be taken care of, then you simply target it to the data source and not to the multi-data source.
Right.
Because the purpose of the multi-data source is basically to provide a database backup. Okay, to provide a database backup. So you create two data sources, and you know that there is a replica of a database as well, right, on the database front. So you create, so always the production database has a replica database as well. So you create two data sources and target one to the actual production database and target the second to a replica or you know, to a DR basically database which has exactly the same database values as the other one. Now what will happen is, if you're doing load balancing, the first database and then the second data source will get the hit, and then the first data source. But within the data source, the sequence is something that would become out of our control. Why? Because out of our control, because we are mentioning the multi-data source in the application code, that we need to target you know, this to a multi-data source. So the only job of the multi-data source is to differentiate between how many data sources it has, and not to differentiate between which server within a data source is getting how much request. That is out, it goes, you know, out of its control. Does that make sense?
Okay.
Did you understand?
Yeah, so it's basically load balancing the connection request between the two data sources, not how many servers there are. Many servers.
Right, right. So, if out of 47 I can bet something, you know what? Divide 47, or 47 actually means 48. So out of 48, because it starts from 0. So 48 divided by 2 is how much? 24, right?
Yeah.
Okay, it is 46, right? Okay.
Yeah,
Okay,
actually,
so 47.
So
47.
Yeah.
So 47 divided by 2 is basically 23, right? 23.
Yeah. Yeah.
One will be 23 and the other will be 24.
Right.
If data source ORCL has 23 or 24 connections and ORCL has 23 or 24 connections, vice versa. If first one has 23, the other one will have 24. If the first one has 24, the other data will. This distribution, please check if what I'm saying is correct or not. If that is correct, that means it is behaving as it should.
I don't know about that, but this is what I saw when it crashed.
Okay, so you have to sum of the values.
So for 1 and 2, it's 16 and 15. This is what I see. Okay, maybe for the ORCL2, I didn't get a chance to look at because it just crashed and then just reset it.
16 and 15. So it's coming up to 31. Is that what you're saying?
But this is for ORCL only. Okay, let me just run it again and we'll see what happens for ORCL2.
Okay, do one thing here. Just monitor ORCL2 as well.
Yeah. So I guess it's dropped at 16. I think. Yeah. So 8 and 8, 16.
Okay, 2, hold on, 2 and 3. 16, 8, 16, 20, 4. Okay. Okay, then this is not something that we would expect. Okay, click on the data source again. Can you show me? Okay, click on. Okay, hold on. You again, which server's IP and port for multi-data source?
Hold on. For MS2.
MS2. Can you change this and give a comma separated all the servers?
Okay. Now it stopped at 44 or 45. Yeah. No, I stopped at 45.
MS2, right? Okay. Okay. Um, Click on the data source, multi-data source. Okay. Um, the ORCL2. Okay. Click on the selected part, alright, part of the managed service.
Yeah.
List to 0. Okay, select all the servers. I'm sorry, not all the servers, but MS4. Okay. Part of the cluster and select MS4. Okay, save. And once it becomes 0, the values try to rerun the program.
Okay, we're moving ahead this time.
45, 45, 90. Maybe, it may require that we have even number of servers for both the data sources for the load balancing to evenly, take place.
Yeah, or maybe when we are dealing with clusters, include all the servers in the
Yeah,
cluster.
right. So this makes sense, right? 45 connections for data source 1 and 45 connections for data source
Yeah,
2.
yeah. So we
Load
stopped
balancing,
yeah,
right, 90. We stopped at 90. 45 plus 45 is 90.
yeah.
And if you select the algorithm as failover for multi-data source,
Yeah.
tell me the output. Guess.
Guess the output or tell you the, I don't know. You have to try this.
I know. I mean, you would tell, but anyways, you would be guessing. I'm sure you're very confident about it. Tell
It
me
should, it should be still, it should be still 90.
no. So what's the difference between load balance and failover? See guys, the failover algorithm says only if a data source fail will I go to the other data source. So in the multi-data source, if there are 2 data sources,
Okay.
the application will use only 1 data source.
Okay.
And only if there is a database error, okay, will it go to the other data source. Otherwise, it will be with that data source till it exhausts. So what would be the output?
So 45, I guess.
45. Yes, you're right. Just clean and rerun with the changed algorithm. Yeah. And just clean the existing data source.
Yeah, let me see if I think this should be already the active. Okay, active count.
Okay, now it should give us 45. For uneven, it would probably also be considering. See, these are all algorithms written by the Weblogic, server team. Maybe it gives some weight to data source 1, saying it has 3 servers, let's give it more weight.
Probably.
And data source 2 has 2 servers, let's give it less weight, and so the load balancing would be 2 connections here and 1 connection there, something like that. I don't know.
Yeah.
But we are sure at 44 it should halt.
Yeah, hopefully. No, it's still continuing.
Still continuing?
Yeah.
Hold on, okay. Yeah, I'll tell you why it is continuing. The changes that you have done from load balancing to failover has not taken effect. You will have to restart the servers and then it will work.
Okay.
Because this is a known issue, my friend, because I've faced this before many times.
Okay. Should I
You will have
reduce
to
okay.
Yes, just reduce this to 300 something. And restart the servers. You may have to restart the admin server as well.
Okay.
There is also an option to just restart the multi-data source.
Okay.
I'll just show you that. Click on the multi-data source, go to controls.
Sorry,
No, hold on. It's not showing up, but just click on view changes and restart. Restart checklist. Here here you will get that multi-data source name and the restart button will be there. So you select that and restart. But I think because you have already restarted the WebLogic instances,
yeah, perhaps that's why. Yeah.
it's not giving you the option, because view restart and changes will only show up those properties which actually require a restart. But because you have already restarted, it does not require a restart anymore.
Yeah. Okay, everything is back now.
Yeah, so it should be 45 this time.
Okay. Okay, I lost where I was. So let me see. That's what I thought. So we were connection. Okay, here we are.
Forty-four, it would stop.
Yeah, I did. Okay.
Right?
That's-
Yeah. So
that's
when you change it to load balancer, it will again go back to 90.
Okay.
So guys, I hope you have understood JDBC. If you have any questions, please note it down. Tomorrow's session, I'll just entertain questions around whatever has been covered. That would be tomorrow's session. If time permits, I'll move on to JMS, a little bit of introduction of JMS.
Okay.
Tomorrow. You can stop today's recording. That's fine. And please share all the